Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Rainer and today we're going to go over the main changes of Mod 15. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see more informational videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. So, the last video we went over the professions changes in specific. That's one thing I will not be covering today. Of course, you can still ask questions on that, but this will be a video about everything else that's changing, and it's quite a list. What we're going to talk about today is the new campaign. There's a new campaign added. We're going to talk about rough AD changes, a very controversial change there again. Then we're going to talk about changes to dungeons and queues. There are further changes to RP. We're going to talk about the normal drop changes for just random mobs on the map. And we're going to go a little bit over a lot of changes to the classes. There will be a lot of changes on that. I will cover a couple of them, but not everything. So first of all, the campaign. It is a new campaign and it's a low level campaign. You can start it as low as level 15. Personally, I did watch the live sessions of Acquisitions Incorporated on YouTube, so seeing those guys being added to the game is quite neat. The content is pretty silly, but so are the live shows. If you haven't seen them on the live shows, the live shows are pretty long. Up to 3 hours, I think, but it's quite nice, especially if you have a background in Dungeons and Dragons. You might like this stuff. They also cover many of the storylines that are being used in Neverwinter itself. Basically, it's all about fun, and you will also notice that in the campaign. The setup of the campaign is pretty much, so it's here at level 15. The setup is pretty much the same as Chilled and Ravenloft, with a weekly haul of 100, which can be upgraded to 175, I guess, in total. Yeah, this is not... and at the end you unlock this new skirmish. So there's no new dungeon, but there is a new skirmish. The skirmish is also usable from level... oh no, it says here requires level 70 the completion of the quest. Okay, so it is level 70. I thought this was 15 and up, not 100% sure. I haven't done this yet. And I don't have a low level character anyway, so I cannot test it. But seeing that you can start the campaign at level 15 and you can get the skirmish unlocked pretty quickly, I highly doubt that this will only be available at level 70. I like this weekly haul like before, because you can reach this in a day and then forget about this character and this campaign and do other stuff. And getting to the cap typically is very easy, because every weekly probably once again will give you already 25 of these acorns. So acorns are the new campaign currency. You also have these wooden tokens, and these wooden tokens can be used to buy stuff in the store. Acorns, by the way, are also used to buy some new keys, and we're going to go over key changes later on. But yeah, this key is for the new skirmish, but we also get new keys for old dungeons. Grey Wolf Den, Master Grey Wolf Den was an old dungeon, we had that before. We also have Master Temple of the Spider key and the Crackmire Crypts key. These dungeons did not have a campaign key chest yet, but seeing this, I think they added a second chest to these dungeons. And if you have some leftover acorns, and I typically have a lot of them left, you can buy those here. There's also some other items in here. I will not go over the items today. I will do that in a different video because otherwise it's going to be just too much. Of course, with every campaign there's also some boons, and these boons are actually pretty okay. You can get some extra defense or increase damage versus cultists, or critical strike, increase damage resistance, extra gold, which is interesting because this connects to the professions changes, but still I wouldn't really do this. Maybe on a back tune if you do. No, I wouldn't do this. Or you get some flat power. So you have crit, power, and damage versus cultists. Normally I would go for this one because 9% damage bonus is quite a lot more than 1000 power, even though it's only versus cultists. Now the top boons are even better. You can either get 3% lifesteal, you can get 3% critical severity, oh yes please. You can get 3% movement, which is maybe nice for a speed loadout if you want that, or 3% recovery, which is also great for a DC, for example, or maybe for some other builds that have already a lot of crit severity or do not rely on crit. So these boons are really nice. Seeing that you can start this campaign at level 15, this is really cool that you can already get so much power or crit in here. Of course, this one is not going to bring so much at lower level, but if you're lower level, you can go for this power buff and be super strong until you're level 70, and then use a retraining token to change your boons again. So that's the campaign. I'm not going to do the skirmish in this video because it's also going to be too long, the video. That's basically the campaign. One more thing, you start the campaign normally at Nox or at Neverwinter, but this campaign you start by picking up a random poster, and then you go to a place in Protector's Enclave. The poster will lead you there, and you will enter the Acquisitions Incorporated headquarters, and then you do some intro quests, etc. Maybe I will show you those intro quests also in a different video. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe if you want that, you can leave it in the comments and I will do that. No problem. So to continue, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rough AD changes in the past, and this has been like this for a very long time. You were able to salvage. Oh, this is from campaign. Yeah, you were able to salvage gear into rough AD. This has been removed completely. If you still have gear, salvage it before mod 15 goes live, because there will be no way anymore to turn your gear into rough AD. That goes for character bound gear, also account bound, and also unbound gear. Nothing can be changed into rough AD anymore. Instead of having to salvage gear, you will now get rough AD directly. Also trade bars, where you used to buy some salvage gear, seals, same thing for rings, and also other currencies which were used before to buy salvage. They will all have options to buy rough AD directly. I don't think those are in yet. I cannot. No, it's not in here yet. I don't think those options are available on preview yet, but this is what the devs have said. It sounds not like a super big deal because you're still getting your rough AD, but this means you will not be able to use back tunes as efficiently anymore. Let me explain. I always used back tunes to salvage my gear because those tunes always had AD boost to spare. You can see here, AD boost, I have 45,000 points remaining. If I get all my rough AD on my main tune, this boost is going to disappear very quickly, and that means I get 50% less rough AD. So if I want to use the AD boost on my alternative characters, on my back tunes now, I have to play random queues, or I have to play random queues on them. Over levels will still grant rough AD, of course, as before. Back tunes will get over levels, but with the profession changes, over levels on back tunes might become a little bit less frequent. It's still hard to say at the moment, but it's probably true. So, dungeon runs or queues, and especially the rewards in those dungeons have received some updates. And this is a hot topic at the moment. As I mentioned, gear will not be salvageable anymore. Instead, you will receive a random amount of rough AD in each end chest. Also, you will get some direct RP for your character on top of refining stones. I'm not sure if refining stones are a guaranteed reward, but you at least will get some bonus RP always in a chest. The idea behind giving direct RP and AD is to give players incentive to play more during RP events or double refinement stones event. Cryptic does not, for some reason, want people to hoard stuff and open everything on, for example, a double refinement stone event. The generic keys from before have all been removed from the game. So before we had here the daily VIP keys. As you can see, I have none. On live I have over 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. And all these keys have been changed into reroll tokens. Let me see. Yeah, I had 1464 keys, and these have been converted automatically into these reward reroll tokens, and this is completely new. Instead of having to use a key on those chests that use the normal key, the VIP key or epic keys that you could buy, these chests do not use a key anymore. For non-generic chests, for which you need a specific legendary dragon key or campaign key. So, for example, this Dragon Queen's key or Malabox Castle key, these specific keys still open another chest. These reroll tokens that we have here allow you to reroll rewards in a chest. Let me show you. So I have a chest here, and as you can see, I have some bonus RP, and I have some. Oh, this is because of the event. So there's a bonus RP event going, so that's why I get this here. I get some refinement points always. I get some rough AD. This amount is random, and of course some RP and some other stuff. And it now shows here I can spend 5,000 AD or a reroll token. I can reroll a maximum of 4 times, and if I do this, the contents of the chest are changed. I already see a bug in here, not an exploit, don't worry, but the bonus RP here seems to be disappearing if you reroll. Not sure if I already have received it already, but just something to mention. So I still don't like this result. I also don't like this result. As you can see, the RP stays the same. The AD changes with the reroll. Here you can see we get quite a bit more. This seems like a nice roll, but remember, this cannot be salvaged. So basically this reward is, well, it's pretty much useless. You can change it to RP, but yeah, 150 extra RP. The black opal is nice, flawless sapphire. Let's reroll run one more time, probably a worse reward. And that's it. We cannot reroll anymore, so we have to accept this reward. So this is how the rerolling works. You can, as I said, reroll 4 times maximum, and then you have to accept the end result. And you cannot go back to a previous result. I actually like this specific change, so that you can reroll the contents of a chest, because it will make grinding the boon tokens, for example, or very specific rewards a lot easier to get. For example, on many of my alternative toons, I still need the token that you get in this Shores of Turn dungeon, and I have to grind this queue 5 times less now, on average, I would say. If that's of course if the drop rates don't change, which is always the question, of course. If you don't do this already, stack up on your keys with your VIP. Even if you have thousands, you will use them up much more quickly after MOD15 due to this rerolling mechanic, it's called. Alright, now to RP. From what I've heard, and I didn't test that yet, but we're going to test that in a second, Overflow now grants RP instead of refining stones. Let's see if that's true. Exactly. Oh, we got 3000 rough AD and 1500 refinement points. Another? This is interesting. Okay, so this is random and this is also random. It seems that we always get AD and refinement points. This is not too bad. But we don't get refining stones anymore. And this is also, as I said, one of the changes that prevents people from stacking up on these overflow rewards or other rewards like heroic encounters also will grant refinement points directly instead of refining stones. Not sure if they also give a rough AD, but I wouldn't be surprised. So this is actually a nice change. I will do some statistics on these rewards, of course. Okay, I only have 22 here, but this is quite a bit of rough AD actually. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get more now than before, and also more refinement points. But of course you cannot sell this stuff. So I already mentioned heroic encounters. They will have something similar. They will not be usable during they will still be openable during a double refining stones event, but they will not grant you double refinement. Leadership, which disappeared and turned into gathering, also does not give RP anymore, sadly. You will be able to make some RP in jewel crafting, but I have a feeling it's a lot less. If you want to grind RP on a bag toon, you have to level up jewel crafting all of a sudden. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. There are also some other bags, of course. We have the Quartermaster bags. These seem to not have changed. I have a very low percentage Quartermasters now, of course, so you will see bad rewards, but it seems like these are still giving refinement stones and enchantments, so this is not changed. And the profession bags, where do I have them? Here they are. These also seem to be unchanged, at least the old ones. So if you have a couple, you can open them before MOD15, but you can also keep them after MOD15 because these will have the same rewards. You will just never be able to get new ones of these. So that's it on RP. RP seems like it's going to be a lot more valuable because it will be very difficult to get RP items. I will get back to that a little bit in a second. So there's also drop changes, as I mentioned. Drop changes from normal enemies that you kill all the time. Maybe I can show you. I'm going to be I have to go to a different area again. So some may like it, some others might not, but almost all items that drop on the floor now, not everything yet, but almost everything, and I think their intention is to change it to everything, you will pick it up on walkover. I have seen a lot of people asking for it. I also like this change quite a bit. Let's go to here. So you don't have to spam your F button or whatever the key is on PlayStation 4 or on Xbox anymore to pick up everything and accidentally interact with other characters or NPCs. You just walk over the stuff and you pick it up. With the RP changes, this is a welcome addition because I typically don't take the time to pick up all the green gear and all the other items. Also treasure typically I don't, and professions are going to take a lot of gold, so you will need to get gold. There are also now far less types of treasures that drop, which will help prevent huge clutter in your inventory. On top of that, treasure now stacks up to 100. I don't have enough treasure at the moment, but it used to be 20 and now they stack up to 100. One more thing, and drops, actually two, but enemies don't drop potions anymore, and also they don't drop skill kits anymore. Let's see if I can. So this is all stuff that used to be pick up anyway. No, actually the treasures did not. Let's see if I can get some other gear. What I also saw, next to the potions and skill kits not dropping anymore, but actually enemies are now dropping unbound aquamarines and flawless sapphires, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's also black opals. Let's see if I can get one. I don't know if this is on a cooldown also. It's not Wanderer's Fortune because I don't have that slotted on this character, but I want to see something bigger drop. So here you can see this green item didn't drop before, but now you didn't pick up and walk over before, but now it does. Let's kill this last group of enemies. So here I got a blue item from an enemy. They also drop rare gear now. Is this now serious? Not going to pick up? This is the first item that I see that doesn't pick up automatically. I did get rare gear before that did pick up, like this one. For some reason this one doesn't. That's very odd. Maybe because it's from a different class? Not sure. But here you can see these I got by killing enemies, and I picked them up also by walking over them. So that's about the changes that I can show you right now. There's also, then this is the last category for this video, there's a lot of changes to classes. I'm not an expert by no means for all the classes. I'm not an expert about DC and Hunter Ranger also, but I do know that the Divine Oracle, Devoted Cleric, Paragon Path is being nerfed quite a bit for group content. Terrifying Insight used to be a group buff, and it buffed the group for quite a bit. That's why the Divine Oracle was very welcome in dungeon content for groups, but it has been changed into a personal buff. And also the Divine Oracle has received some other buffs to do more damage. It's actually now a very nice Paragon Path for solo content, but for group content you will need to make an AC loadout. This is again further reduce the 2 DC meta that has been going on for quite a while now. And the Hunter Ranger, I also looked into those changes a bit. I did not test everything yet, but what I noticed is that archery is getting some major buffs, which is about time because it's super underpowered. I'm not sure whether it's now viable. I didn't test it yet, but maybe I will look into it at some point. Combat and Trapper are also changed a bit. Trapper now has Aspect of the Serpent using 3 stacks instead of 2, which makes the rotations a little bit slower. Not sure if that's a good change. Combat has received some buffs, I think. Blade Storm has become quite a bit more powerful, for instance. But there's a lot more changes. If you want to see all the changes, you can find them on the forums. I did not test everything yet. So as I said, I'm not super familiar with the other classes, but some things that popped out for me are that Oathbound Paladins get a 40% higher base damage on everything, which will help the solo clearing. This is definitely a good thing, since my Oathbound Paladin was the slowest through solo content, and he's not really the lowest item level of them all. So I like that one. So my weeklies on the Oathbound Paladin are going to be a lot more quick. The Trickster Rogue is also getting a big rework on stealth and all the mechanics around that, and mainly on the others, and also actually on the classes that I already mentioned. What the devs are trying to do with these changes is to make other Paragon paths more viable, because in the past mostly one build was good and the others were not. They're trying to even out the spectrum so that we will see more different builds. Of course, it's always wait and see what happens in the end. Probably it's not going to work, but who knows. I think that's it for this video. It has become quite a long video, but there's a lot to talk about, as I said. The gear, I think I mentioned this before, but I will mention it again. There is some new gear, but I don't think everything is in the collections pages yet. I will cover that in another video, and I will also show you all the fashion, how stuff looks again in that video. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.